So you're thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale, Florida? Well, in this video, we are going to be talking about taxes. I know it's not the most exciting, but it's definitely beneficial, especially if you're comparing moving from one state to the other. In this video, I'm going to be talking about California versus Florida. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you the person you want to reach out to for any property tax questions here in the area. Let's get into it right now. Now, there are some disclaimers I have to throw out. I'm not a tax professional. I'm not a CPA. I highly recommend reaching out to your tax professional, but this is just kind of the research that I found as well as my own personal taxes. So I am excited to share with you because hopefully this will help you make that conscious decision if you're ready to make that jump to Florida. And if you are, make sure to reach out to me. I'm going to compare three different home prices, $500,000, $1 million, and 1.5, as well as compare three different income brackets so that way you can see your overall tax implication. Starting off here, your taxes are broken down into three things: county, city, and school. This actually happens to me in my personal one where I paid $1.85 for 2022. And quick side note, I realized the state of Florida, we actually pay in arrears, meaning we don't pay our taxes until the year has passed. So this past winter or spring, because taxes are due prior to April 1st, you pay that for last year. So I had to pay before April 1st for 2022. So we pay in the arrears, quick side note. Now, with the state of Florida, we do actually have a $50,000 tax exemption. Now, really quickly, I'm going to break it down where the first $25,000 you get taxed for county, city, and school. And the second $25,000, it only applies towards county and city. So that's actually why I have two different sums right here. The first one being $462, and the other one $300. But you can see my total here is $765. So that's the actual deduction for exemption that I'm going to get from my total property tax bill. There are other tax exemptions that you can see here depending whether you're a widow, veteran, or a blind person. Oh, and a quick side note, you can actually end up getting additional discounts the earlier you pay. So for example, if you pay before the end of November, you get 4% discount. If you end up paying in December, it's 3%. If you pay by the end of January, it's 2%. And if you pay by the end of February, it's 1%. And then of course, if you pay by the end of March, it's 0. Here's our first example. We're going to be focusing on a $500,000 house between both states, California and Florida. Now, California actually does have the lesser property taxes. Average is about 1.15. Personally, I have family members who pay closer to 1, and then I have other family and friends who still reside in California who pay closer to 1.5. Now, here in Florida, I did go ahead and put the 1.85 that I personally pay. But let's say you have a $500,000 house in California. Your property tax based off of that 1.15 is $5,750. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and base it off someone making $100,000. Let's say it's a married couple and they're each making $50,000. So that's their combined income. Then they will be paying $9,300, and that is based off the California state income if they make between $66,000 up to $338,000, and that's of course according to NerdWallet. So that's where I get the $9,300. Now, most people believe that California does not get any exemptions. They do in fact get up to $7,000, but that does equate to just at least about $70 off their tax bill. So it's not necessarily huge. That's probably why people don't even think it exists. But if you were to add up your property tax with your income tax minus the $70, you would be looking at $14,980 in taxes. Now, if you were to switch over to Florida, taking that same house, $500,000,
Property taxes, you would actually be looking at $9,250 because it is more. But the biggest benefit is that we don't pay income tax. So technically this is zero. And because of the exemptions that I had mentioned in the previous slide was $765. So once you actually reduce that from your property taxes, that's just $8,485. And that's a $6,500 annual savings. So it's pretty significant.
My name is Adela Philipson, and I am a local realtor right here in the greater Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. So if you are thinking about moving here in 9 days or 90 days, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email. All the information is down below in the description as well as in the comments.
Let's take a look at $1 million home. In order to afford $1 million home, we're going to increase the income. In this case, I'm just going to take $200,000. If you're in California looking at $1 million home, your property tax is going to be $11,500. The income tax still at 9.3% would equal $18,600, and still with a tax exemption of $70, that will bring you to a tax liability of just a little over $30,000. If you compare that to Florida with $1 million home over here, the property tax is of course a little higher, which we've already mentioned. That's $18,500 in this case. Income tax is still zero. That's the beautiful thing about living here. And the tax exemption is still at $765, again, living in Fort Lauderdale, Broward County in the state of Florida. So that does bring it to $17,000, and that is still a great savings at $12,000.
If you are thinking about moving to Fort Lauderdale and haven't necessarily decided on the neighborhood just yet, I do have a playlist right here for you to enjoy.
Let's take a closer look at a $1.5 million home between the two states. I am also going to increase the actual income to $300,000. For property taxes, in this case in the state of California, it is $17,250. And the actual income, it's still that 9.3% that I mentioned, because you have to break $338,000. So it's still the same, and that does come out to $27,900. Still with that $70 tax exemption, that does bring your tax implication to just a little over $45,000, which is a lot of money. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money. Now, if you actually go ahead and look at Florida, that same $1.5 million home, still at 1.85%, you will be looking at property tax of $27,750, still zero state income tax, and your tax exemption is $765. So your tax between your property and your state income tax, that's $26,000, just a little under $27,000 basically. So that is actually at $18,000 savings.
Just by looking at this, you can see that you have a huge benefit in living in the state of Florida because we don't have the no state income tax. Yes, our property taxes are higher compared to California, but when you compare your tax implications in total between property tax and no state income tax, you can clearly see that Florida is a winner. If you made it this far in the video, then let me share with you the person I was referring to, and now that is Marty Kyer. He happens to be the Broward County tax appraiser, and him and his team are absolutely amazing to work with. Not only can you give them a call or send them an email and they will respond, but you can even go in person and they are more than willing to help you out. Now, Marty isn't paying me or endorsing me, but I just have to say I have had a wonderful acquaintance with him, and he will greet you with a smile. If you want to learn more about what it costs to live in the state of Florida, I have created a video right here just for you, which I break down the costs of grocery shopping as well as even the prices of gas. And if you don't want to miss out on anything else, make sure to subscribe. See you later, alligator.